Hi, it's Larry Herb, Xbox's Major Nelson. Welcome to the official Xbox podcast. You have found us, you've liked us, you've subscribed to us. You're here, we're with you. We are going to bring in the rest of the gang. Here they are. What? There he is. There's Jeff. We got Malik in this week. Malik, good to see you.
Glad to be here. Good to see you both. We have you and we have both Malik Prince here. That mistake was a good one, but I love the comment last week. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be back. I will say, and Jeff, maybe you don't even know this, that after last time I was on the show, Hollywood's been hitting me up.
Oh yeah, it happens.
They saw my appearance.
Well, we don't use the term Hollywood and hitting anymore. We don't use that.
Oh, that's a good point. Wow. Good to be here, though.
Okay. It's great to have you. Jeff, nice to see you over there as always.
We've got both Maliks on the show this week. So,
right.
We meet at last.
So for those of you that don't know, last week, because I produced the show, I'm the host, you'll see me like doing different things here, is when I bring up this little thing, which we call the lower third, I still had Malik over there in the right box. So that's why in the lower third. So I fixed it, but now we're all set. We're all in the right place at the right time.
The good news is
right.
Rebecca gets to meet Malik next year. And Malik is like more like a title. It's your name, but it's also a title. And
it is.
Rebecca will be the Malik of the week.
Malik of the week. All right.
Malik of the week. Wow.
Let's get into what we're playing. We've got some cool stuff. I've got, you know what these mean, right?
We mean someone just got back from the doctor.
Well,
yep.
No, I've got some stuff to show off today. We got some fun props here to show off. We're going to do that. But first, we're going to talk about what we're playing. And Malik, I think I'm going to have you go first. So why don't you tell us what you're playing?
Wait, which Malik? I just want to be...
Okay.
Yes.
Right, okay, Malik, not left Malik.
All right, last one.
Gotcha.
Last one.
What are you playing, man?
I'll go. I love the commitment to the bit. So for me, as we all know, last time I was on, I talked about my love of Apex, which, I will always say that I'm playing that game. It's kind of just my constant, and Apex Legends is just great. And so this week, what's really great is that they just put out the next gen update. So I know since the Series X and S came out, people have been clamoring for the update, and it's finally out. So 4K. 60 frames per second. They added HDR, which was previously on the Xbox version with Auto HDR, which is a feature that the Great Platform team implemented. But now it's built into the game, so it looks even better.
Native.
I think the audio's actually changed a little bit because like the bass of the grenades is way stronger.
So the audio's HDR too?
No, separate from the HDR, the audio, I feel like the bass is just like so increased, which actually makes you feel like you're definitely in Kings Canyon, Olympus, or Storm Point. But I'm just loving the game. And so that has been amazing. And eventually all three of us will play and get a few victories, right?
Well, it's funny.
We
Jeff
were
and I,
big fans.
Jeff and I and his daughter used to play all the time. And I think she's moved back over to Overwatch. So Jeff, I think you and I and Malik should totally roll in there. Now, I can't speak for Jeff. But Malik, I am a little bit rusty, but I'm happy to play.
He's your
Let's
Pathfinder.
go. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm your I'll be your Pathfinder or your Bloodhunter.
Bloodhunter.
Yeah.
That's how I say it. I try to do the best impressions of the Apex characters as I can. I'm working on it still, though, as you can tell. But outside of that, I'm also playing WWE 2K22, just released not too long ago this month. And the game is just amazing. The team took off a year to really focus on the gameplay, and it really shows. One, the graphics look amazing. The gameplay is more true to life than ever before, and they brought back a mode that hasn't been in the game for over a decade, which is any wrestling fans who are watching this right now, they know what I'm talking about. My GM mode, where you get to take over a whole brand on the show and you get to run the show. Now, you don't get to set like concession prices or anything like that, but you get to decide almost everything else. And it's just a really great mode. And I'll say like the creator wrestler mode is really awesome. You might have seen like some of the great folks at Kinda Funny. There's like a community member.
Yeah, I saw that.
Made them in the game. And it's so impressive. So a shout out to the folks over there at 2K. WWE 2K is back.
Malik, should you, okay, so here's your homework. Why don't you go create Jeff and I and yourself?
Ooh, okay. Honestly, I haven't dabbled into it myself, but if you want to put that challenge out there,
it's there.
I will do that, and I will tag you both. Give me a week. Give me a week.
And you know what? If you take as much time as you want, we'll get you back on the show, and you can reveal it right here on the show. How's that sound?
Ooh, okay. Oh, that's a lot.
Don't do it on social.
I'm
I want
down.
you to do it here on the show so you can get our real-time reaction.
Get an Xbox podcast exclusive. I'm down for it.
That's
All right.
right.
I'm
That's
excited
right.
for that.
All right.
And then the last game that I'm playing is a game called A Memoir Blue. And so as many folks do, with Xbox Game Pass, the best value in gaming, that's just my thoughts. Maybe a little bit biased, but I will say that, whenever I'm looking for a new game to play, I kind of go through the Xbox Game Pass library. And what really strikes me is first, the box art of the game. That really often tells you a little bit about the tone of the game. And that leads me to look into it a little bit more. So I downloaded A Memoir Blue. It's a really short game. I think it's less than an hour. I played it at the end of the night last night. So I haven't finished it yet, only a few minutes. But it's from the folks at Annapurna, who does a great job at making interactive games.
Yeah.
Games that are a little bit different. And so if you ever check out A Memoir Blue, even if you just check out the trailer, it's a really great art style. It's about a young girl. Her name is Miriam, unpacking her relationship with her mother. And so I won't spoil the rest of the story.
I'm looking at
that. I haven't finished it, but it looks awesome. And so that is a game that I'm going to be playing and finishing tonight.
Yeah, and if you're on Steam, it's on PlayStation. Of course, it's on Xbox for Game Pass or Switch. So it's on multi-platforms, but of course you're going to play it on Game Pass because you're a Game Pass subscriber. But yeah, this looks really great. It's got this nice watery action going. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh, that looks cool. Thank you for the tip there, Malik. That's cool.
Yeah, of course. Always happy to give the recommendations.
Let's. I know Jeff has got a pretty good story for his side, so I'm just going to deliver what I've been playing. Tunic pretty much nonstop since it came out.
Love to hear it.
And I have to tell you, how much, Malik or Jeff, have you played much of the game?
Played the demo. I'm waiting until I'm done with. I have to finish Elden Ring before I can get into it.
Fair point. How about you, Malik? Have you played it yet?
I also played the demo. I have not jumped into it. I'm a little bit afraid of how hard it might be. Some people said it is, but I'm going to jump into it.
Well, if you watched last week, Jeff gave the tip of you can kind of put on God mode, which allows you it basically never decreases your health and you're just kind of hacking the enemies. But it is still rather challenging. The puzzles are challenging, and I didn't realize it till seriously. I'm probably 10 hours into the game that you have to go to these shrines and pray, press and hold A to pray. Never knew it. So there's a lot in this game that doesn't get explained. But I'm having a great time. I may actually re-roll my character and start over. So
press A to pray.
Press A to pray.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
I love it.
That's where I've been going wrong all these years.
All right, Jeff. So now I could see from what you've got queued up behind you. We'll go full screen here.
Oh yes,
you're back in it.
Yeah. So as we talked about last week, Fortnite in the new chapter, it's part of the storyline that building is gone. They took away building.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't like building. I mean, at best, like if I was what would happen is early in the game is fine, and for going up hills and stuff or traversal was necessary the way the game was set up. But at the end of the game, the people at the end, it would get real sweaty. They'd build these giant towers and then jump down and one shot you. And I just didn't enjoy it.
Right.
What can I say? Just didn't enjoy it. And but I would go in and buy the skins because nobody has better crossovers like with Silk Sonic or with Naomi Osaka, Chloe Kim. I mean, they put just an amazing job of putting people in the game. Master Chief, as you can see over my my right shoulder there. So they took building out, and I was like, let me jump in, and jumped in. And the other thing that sort of pushed me over the edge, and we talked about it last week, is that all proceeds, if you're from them and on the Xbox side, are going to support Ukrainians who certainly need that support. So I felt really good going in, buying a battle pass, buying for my daughter the Chloe Kim super pack for however many V-Bucks that was, picking up some other stuff, and turns out we love it. No build mode is totally for us. It actually was confirmed this week that no build mode will be a permanent addition, or zero build mode, I guess they call it.
But there's still the mode where you can build, right? They've still got it in there.
Well, I'm sure that will come back at some point based on the story. I don't have any insider info, but it's clear that as part of the season, you're supposed to be helping to restore building. But I think the success of it. So because there's no building, you're faster. You can mantle. You can climb up stuff. There's just a more traversal options, and you have a sprint mode where you can run much faster than you could in the traditional version of the game. And it feels like when we were playing PUBG back in the day. After that, we got very much into Apex, which is a first person, and there's a huge difference between a first person and a third person shooter. And playing back into that third person battle royale mode, it's really fun. You're like standing behind a tree and you're sort of cheesing the camera to see if they see you and all that. And anyway, we ended up getting within like 3 games our first victory royale. Which
well done.
Actually, the first I had in like 5 years. And wait, what's this? Apparently, we have the footage.
We have the footage. I was able to pull it off Xbox Live, and here it is.
There's me with my Psylocke X-Men skin. I would just go in and buy skins. I was like, that's an awesome skin. I love the X-Men Jim Lee era, so I had to pick this one up. And then we came around. My daughter's using the Chloe Kim skin right there. You can kind of see the silhouette there.
Look at that. Number 1.
That was the first one.
Amazing.
Felt really good. And then not exactly like super amazing play. And then, I was finished with the golf clap. The game, it's really so. Last night, jumped on in a full squad. Second game, we got our victory royale, and so we're going to be playing with a couple of streamers actually tonight. And so I'm just fully back into it.
Good for you.
Great job for them. Great job. Of course, I don't know what the latest numbers are, but it was at least, I want to say like $70 million raised so far for Ukrainians between Epic and Xbox. So it's a great cause. So I'm just I'm buying every skin in sight because they update every day. There's Jordan skins. There's all kinds of cool stuff that I've missed because I really haven't played in the last couple of years. So great job there. Right. And then when I'm not playing that, I'm now on the Capital in Elden Ring. So I think I'm probably 70 to 80% through the game. It's amazing. I love it. But yeah.
We know you love it.
Even as hard as it is, I don't know how you all have the heart to do it.
I have the build that I've got. I am not a get good type of person, but and when you see like some of these, like Sunni Legend, I know we've talked about him in the past. He's sort of just is like an amazing player. You see him on Twitter. He just the way he like worked Margit on, and it got like 20,000 retweets, like just like dismissive of this huge boss that totally took me 15 tries to beat. I'm playing on a range build. You get you get these Ashes of Grace, I think they're called. And I have basically a twin who, we'll be honest, does a lot of the work, distracts the boss. I'm just throwing lightning bolts into them.
You're Tom Sawyering this.
Yeah, someone else is doing the work, if that's the reference you're making, because I never read that. But, right? Maybe. So, was I wrong? Or that is
no, you're right. Reference? It's just a little bit of American literature that I should not be bringing up, I guess.
The wrong podcast, Larry. That's on your other show.
That's my Lit show.
The game can be hard if you're not prepared, but once you get over it, and you're like, I'm not going to be scared. And by the way, I'm gonna cheese things. You take every opportunity to cheese these enemies whenever you can, and because otherwise it's the odds are stacked against you. And I'm just cruising. I'll be honest, I'm cruising. I'm just loving every minute in that world.
Well, I know that I need to get you back, or I need to invite you back into my world so I can do some more co-op after I finish Tunic. But we should totally get some time if you can take a break from Fortnite and roll in some Apex with Malik and I.
I do want to see the update, so I'm all about it.
Yeah, so that's good there. We've got so anyway, that's what we're playing this week. We've got some news coming up in just a minute. Jeff, do you want to bring us in the interview? Because I'm really excited about the interview this week. It was such a delight to talk to Kiki Wolfkill. Amazing.
Awesome. So we know Kiki Wolfkill is the head of transmedia over at 343. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, she's very involved with the Halo TV series, which is currently running on Paramount Plus. By the way, if you say I don't have Paramount Plus and you have Xbox Game Pass, guess what? You have a month of Paramount Plus. So go in, check those perks, watch the show, listen to this interview, and you'll be all set.
Halo, the series is on Paramount Plus right now. Joining us is Kiki Wolfkill, who's a good friend of mine. Kiki, it's good to finally see you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, first of all, I know we tried to get you on last week because the series premiere, and that's why you're here. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you were down in LA doing the red carpet. Hopefully not hitting anybody, but you were down there on the red carpet. And it looks like it was a lot of fun.
It was. I have to say that, it's been a long journey.
Yep.
I wasn't ready to believe that we were actually there until we were on the red carpet. And I think that's when it was really real for me,
Right.
that this is happening. We're doing this. We're going to release an episode at midnight tonight. It was a pretty intense feeling.
Well, I want to talk about that because we talk about the journey. I mean, this has been an epic journey to bring Halo to the TV screen. I mean, not as a game, because certainly there's been tons of games that come to the TV screen, but I'm saying as a live action episodic experience, and it started a decade-ish ago. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's been about a 10-year journey.
Tell us about that. What took so long? Was it just, I mean, the stories of Hollywood of things, this is not just specific to Halo. There's a lot of projects that just took forever, kind of a long time to go through the system, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a couple of things. I think you're right. These things they do take time. And, for us, this was the one sort of Hollywood project we were doing. And for a lot of other people, it was one of, a dozen projects they had. But I think more than anything, it was just, we needed to get the right team together, and that took time. And we tried a few things and it didn't work. And, we also were being really ambitious with what we wanted to do in terms of production value and sort of the scope and scale of the show. And that took a lot of planning as well. So, and we were in production for a while, we spent almost 3 years shooting, going home for 6 months for the COVID hiatus, but it was definitely a Herculean task, I will say, to bring this to life.
Will you talk about that for a second? Because I know a lot of folks that work at the studio that work with you, work for you. And I would always like, where's Kiki? And there you were away shooting. You were actually on set for pretty much the whole thing. And can you tell me where you shot it and kind of that experience?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I will say, what an extraordinary opportunity to be, sort of this far into my career and get the chance to learn a whole new production pipeline and way of working. So we shot in Budapest. We shot in a few areas outside of Budapest, but we have 7 huge sound stages that are all ours there. So our production offices, et cetera, are all there. And so we shot on the stages. We had a physical condor on a gimbal that's built on one of the stages. And then we shot in a few other locations around Hungary. And yeah, I was there from, we started prepping a few months before we got to Budapest. The set actually you're seeing now inside Soren's quarters is a physical set. And then obviously we augment a lot with CG. But yeah, it was an extraordinary experience. I was on set literally every single day, working with the directors and the showrunner and the talent. And it was an incredible experience. It was exhausting. Like we talk about game hours, shooting hours is a whole nother thing, I have to say, because you're physically just there together all the time.
There's a lot of, as somebody who's shot a lot of television and have been on film sets, there's a lot of waiting, right? You got to wait to set the shot up, and you got to wait till the sun is in the right position or whatever. There's, wait for the practical effects to get in position, right?
Yeah. But for us, for all that waiting, because we were shooting so constantly, we would just be having meetings on set all the time about an episode we were shooting in 2 months, about costume decisions, about things we were shooting the next day. And so while there was a lot of waiting, that was also time we were just using always for being ready. We were literally laying the track as we went along. And so that time was super valuable.
What was it like, seeing, you've been in the games industry for a long time. In fact, tell us a little bit about a few of the games you've worked on. You were one of the original women at Xbox back in the day. You joined before I joined. Everyone thinks I started Xbox. I had nothing to do with it. I was behind the path. You were blazing the path in so many ways. Tell us about some of the titles you worked on and kind of your journey into the Halo universe.
Yeah, I mean, I have been there for every console launch. So before even Xbox, I was working on PC games at Microsoft. But Project Gotham Racing was sort of my baby when we launched the original Xbox. And worked on a lot of racing games. I have a soft spot for the racing games. but worked on Mass Effect, the original Crackdown, Fable, and Fable 2. And it wasn't, I had done some work so I kind of came up through art. I was an art director, ultimately the director of art for Microsoft Game Studios, now Xbox Game Studios. And so I'd done some work with Marcus and the team on Halo 3, just really supporting what they were doing with the game at the time. And it wasn't until we formed 343 in 2008 that I moved from an art director role to an executive producer role, which was something I've been talking to Shane about for a while.
Shane Kim used to run studios.
Yes, yeah. Shane Kim, who I ran into recently, by the way, at a hockey game. But yeah, so, the chance to join 343, I'd always been a huge Halo fan, a huge Halo fan. So to be able to build that Halo 4 team and ship Halo 4 as our first 343 game was an incredible experience. And storytelling and the Chief and Cortana journey and sort of the those big themes and the world building and immersion of Halo were the things that I loved the most. So to be able to take that and move it into live action and move it into the television space beyond doing, the TV ads. We have an incredible Marcom team who I've always worked really closely with. And that was always like being able to present these amazing slivers of story in the universe. And so being able to do it in long form, right, do it in 9 hours was an incredible opportunity.
What's it like working? I mean, we always talk about the linear television where you sit down and you watch linear storytelling versus games, which are non-linear storytelling where the player decides they want to go through that door, they want to jump through the window, they want to spend an hour in this room or 2 seconds in the room. How is the transition for you making it from non-linear storytelling into a linear storytelling universe where, the director and the producer control exactly what you're going to see at any moment versus a player, which may be over here, and who knows where they're going to go.
Right. I mean, that's what I love. Like, visual storytelling has always been the thing that has drawn me to games. And I love both mediums, right? I love film and television, and I love games, and I love how the level of immersion and interaction and agency in games, how that makes me feel. But I think the things that are the same are having that very clear vision for the story that you want to tell, having a very clear idea of what you want the audience to feel, whether they're participating as one of the characters or not. So those things are very similar. But, you are telling a story from a specific point of view, right? With film and TV. And so it, does allow you to do some more character exploration than maybe you can do easily in a first-person game. Not to say that it's impossible, but there is a level and depth of character development that is easier to do in film and TV. And I think that's really why the series was exciting for us, having this 9 hours to tell a story about the Master Chief, to tell a story about John, right? Because the game you really are the Master Chief, and most of the storytelling is focused on moving you as a player forward through the story. But the world building and creating sort of an amazing sci-fi world, all of that is the same. I mean, what in some ways makes it a little bit easier is we get to point the camera in a direction and we know what it's going to hit. Right, we don't have to worry about what's outside of the frame in a way that in games you do. You do, as to your point, you have to have that 360 view, and so there's sort of a relentless attention to detail that goes with that lets us, at least on the television side, really focus the attention and we know where you're looking, and we know what you're hearing, and we know what is going to happen next, and that's a little bit of a different dynamic.
And here we're seeing some of the iconic characters, of course, Chief there and so forth. And this is, how do you translate like a battle like this that we just saw on screen with Chief and the Covenant? How do you translate that from something that gamers have known for over 20 years, and they know what the energy sword is like, and they know what the Covenant sound like? I mean, thank you for the wart. But how do you?
I'm so glad you heard that.
I know a lot of people heard that in the first episode, and so
Yeah.
how is that like? How do you make that transition to bring something that was before digital now in some cases in real life in the case of Master Chief?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different layers actually to answering that question. I think the first is, how do you take the things that people are familiar with and put them in this different space? And there the challenge is, how do you make it feel grounded and real and something that, you feel like you could really touch in real life, that it's not made of pixels, even though much of it may be. And then you do want those emotional hooks. When we hear the shield sound, we all have a reaction to that. Like, it's built into our DNA as Halo players.
Right.
And so you want to be able to do that. But I think the important thing with the battle and with any of those pieces of gameplay that you may bring in, it has to be moving the story forward, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's the first priority. Through this kind of storytelling, is every decision has to be adding value to the story. And even from a battle perspective, right? That battle you see in episode 1, there is a story there, right? It is the story of Quan and what happens to this outpost and the people in it and the Spartans coming in. And so you need to be able to follow that thread that can be different than it is on the game side. And then, frankly, there's a lot of things you can do in the game physically, because we can cheat a lot of physics, and we can't cheat physics in quite the same way in live action. So there's all sorts of things we're like, oh, he'll just do this. And it's like, oh, wait, he can't actually do that because he can't actually get his arm up above here because of physical limitations. Like, for us, we can cheat a lot of things in the game. Same with how, elites move and all of that. So there is definitely a translation process.
When you're working on there and you're working on set and you're surrounded by some of these great actors that you got to work with, did they have familiarity with the game and the universe, or were they just coming in as professional actors, or were there actual fanboys and girls there?
Yeah. Oh, there was such a mix. And I would say this of all the crew. Like, there were people who had played when they were younger, but hadn't played for a long time, right? Their lifestyles had changed.
Sure.
So they had this fondness and this nostalgia and this love, but maybe not a recent, experience with the games. Then you had people who were just diehard fans, like knew every single detail, which was amazing, especially because, we had some of that on our VFX team, and we had it in some really critical places. And then you had people who were completely new to Halo. We did a Halo boot camp for everyone coming in to the show. So I think we did something like 15 boot camps, which was really about giving background on what Halo is, who are the Covenant, what is a Spartan, sort of that basic knowledge. And then there was a lot of layered on top of that, what does this character mean to our audience? What does this relationship dynamic mean to fans? What are the things that are really, really precious, and why? And what is the universe about, right? Because it's not just, what is, Halo Infinite about? What was Halo Combat Evolved about? It's what does the universe mean to people? Right. Because that's the thing that we have to capture and to be able to deliver. And so they would leave that both with a great foundational knowledge of Halo, but also I think a real sense of responsibility to the audience and to the fans to deliver something good.
And as you and I record this, we're episode 1 aired last week on Paramount Plus. You can watch it exclusively there. Episode 2 is coming up. It will have aired by the time this interview airs. So yeah. I have not seen it yet. I know you've seen it, even though you told me you were going to get me some copies of it, so I could take a look at it early. But we'll talk about that.
But I'm glad. But no, I'm glad I didn't, because we are literally finished these things like right before they air, and I want you to see it and hear it in its full glory.
Yeah, and it does look spectacular. It's so we've got 9 episodes, right?
Yep.
We've got 9 episodes. It's going to air every single week on Paramount Plus. And we announced also, this is not news, but you already picked up for a second season. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, that feels good. It feels good mostly because we wrapped season 1, at least production wise, and we just plowed into season 2 and started thinking and figuring out what we were going to do and kind of just going with the hopes that they would actually renew us, because we know how hard and how long it takes to build this. But we learned so much on season 1, just like version 1 of a game, right? You learn a ton, and you come out of the experience with a 10-page list of all the things you want to do differently and better, and how you want to take all those learnings forward. And I think all of the cast and crew are excited to do that. So to have it actually confirmed that we can do it is incredible.
Hopefully, I didn't get a chance to do it the first time because thanks pandemic, but hopefully I can come and do a set visit and maybe do a little something on the set now that you've got a little bit more of the world out there and people have seen some of the sets and of course the characters. So I'd like to talk to you about that. We're not going to talk about it now. But
you are welcome anytime.
Thank you. All right, Kiki, listen, I could talk to you forever. It's so lovely to talk to you and learn more about Halo, the series. Now on Paramount Plus, check it out. And also for Game Pass members, you get a free 30-day trial. So what are you doing? Go redeem it in Microsoft Rewards.
Yeah, do it now. Do it now.
Do it now. All right, Kiki, thanks so much. And I'll make sure I'm looking forward to seeing the next bunch of episodes. And congratulations on season 1, and of course getting picked up for season 2. And best of luck to y'all.
Thank you so much.
It's always great to talk to Kiki. I could talk to her for like another hour or two. It's just she's been at Xbox forever, as you heard her journey, and now she's off in Budapest, working on the show, and it's great to see Halo. Have both of you watched the series so far? Right now as we record this, episode 2 airs this evening, so episode 1's behind us. Jeff,
I'm waiting for them to be.
You want to binge? Okay,
multiple.
next.
I want them to be stacked up so I can watch multiple in a row.
All right. So what about you, Malik?
Yeah, I actually don't have Paramount Plus, so I know that as Jeff mentioned earlier with Game Pass, I'm going to be able to grab that. So I think I'm gonna check wait for a few of them to come out and then check them out.
And binge.
But yeah, with Kiki Wolfkill, I met her a few years ago at an extra live stream Xbox was doing, and she's just got like this rock star personality, and so I'm so excited to see all the work the team's been doing, because that thing's been in development for quite some time, and the reception online has been great, and so super excited.
Thanks, Kiki. Anyway, we'll get her on again. Jeff, actually, and Malik, I don't know. I know that this is way far ahead, but Jeff and I haven't been. Malik, I know you're newer to the team, but we used to go every August to Gamescom, and basically we were invited to visit the Halo set. I don't know if they're going to be in production if we go to Gamescom, because it's going to be up in Hungary. So there we go. Let's talk about that, Jeff.
Yes. Yeah. I would love to.
Can I tag along?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. But only if you finish those WWE caricatures. So.
Oh yes, I got to write that down. I already forgot about it. My memory is awesome.
There's your homework.
Just make sure maybe send me an email or something like that. I don't know.
I'll send you a message.
We'll cover it off in the next team meeting.
We'll keep going. I got some show and tell to do here, but first I know we got a little bit of news there. And Jeff, I noticed that your wardrobe is a little more casual than usual. What do you got there?
No, this is activewear. Activewear is the new business. And
I'm sorry, you're a little bit more active than usual.
Yes, you see, I've clearly just come straight from the gym, or the pitch, as they call it. This is a 20-year-old French Football Federation Thierry Henry jersey. He's the greatest of all time. And the reason I'm wearing it is not just because he's the greatest of all time and allez les bleus, but because Xbox has become the official gaming partner of the French Football Federation.
Oui, oui.
So, yes. So you're going to see Xbox together with some of the best players in the world, Kylian Mbappe, and I love Giroud. He has scored the Scorpion goal, which was maybe like the best goal in Premier League history. Amazing players on the French team, and we get to work with both the men's team, who are the reigning World Cup champion, and the women's team, who are amazing. We always think about the U.S. as being the top team, and they are over the course of the last 25 years, but the rest of the world has gotten really, really strong. And the French women's team, ranked number 4 in the world as we speak, really good. And of course, it's really great watching. In fact, some of the players play here as part of the Reign. I don't know if you've ever been to a Reign match here. They're moving back to Seattle, so that is really cool. So you'll be seeing again both the US and the French, or the Xbox team and the French team connected, and it'll be really cool.
Is that a custom jersey? Did they put your name on the back of it? Can we see?
Well, so they had sent me a jersey. It didn't get here in time. And so I was like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure I have a French national team jersey from World Cup 2002.
Okay.
And indeed, I found it last night. So looking forward to my new one.
So that's what that if I look in the background there, that's what that closet is. It's all your soccer jerseys.
Oh, I've got tons of them. All right, I'll start wearing them next week. So there was a big Xbox Day. So Xbox Day will be May 21st at Clairefontaine, which is the training center. There's a lot of information here about this connection, and that is over on Xbox Wire. So I would say take a look at that, and allez les bleus.
Allez les bleus. All right, thank you, Jeff. Any other news over there? Because I know, Malik, you've got a couple pieces on your side for news that you're going to cover. You want to pop on those?
Definitely. So let's talk about Minecraft, because who doesn't love Minecraft?
Everybody loves Minecraft.
The new MLB Home Run Derby update is out, where you can get like a jersey from all 30 teams, I believe, which is pretty cool. It's that time of the year. If you're a big baseball fan, you look forward to every single year, opening day. And so me being a Yankees fan, I know, feel free to send me your hate mail. Listen, sometimes you're just the best team and people can't accept that. Regardless, you can jump into Minecraft and check out that Home Run Derby DLC, which allows you to play in this virtual cavernous ballpark, which is really cool. And so I love to see partnerships like this. And of course, MLB The Show is coming to Xbox Game Pass for the second year in a row. So the folks who make that game, such a great simulation game for purists like myself who enjoyed the game. I don't watch it as much, baseball as much, but I love getting it out there and just kind of going through the season and losing a lot, but having a good time.
You went to the games at the old Yankee Stadium, right, Malik?
I did. I lived.
It was right next to the prison.
Yeah, exactly. And so I haven't been to the new one, but
right.
I would take the train from Brooklyn to the Bronx and check it out. So yeah, Yankees, go Yankees, go Minecraft, Home Run Derby DLC, and check out MLB The Show 22 coming out pretty soon.
If I'd been better prepared, I would have had my Phillies jersey on top. Back when I worked at Sony and worked with the MLB team, Sony San Diego Studios builds this game, and it's the best baseball game there is. They gave me,
and now it's on Game Pass.
Yes, and they gave me a game-worn Ryan Howard jersey. Ryan Howard is.
Do you still have that?
Playing days. I do. 6'4", 243 pounds. Basically, it looks like I'm wearing my dad's dress shirt. But it would next week.
Fantastic.
Good. The Mets and the Phillies had some pretty good matches. I also went to a few Mets games. I love the Mets as well, but Yankees boy right here.
Mets fan.
There you go.
So, yeah. All right, Jeff. Now you got a couple pieces of news, and then we got some show and tell to show you guys off.
Real quick. Did your parents ever tell you you're not gonna get anywhere playing those video games? You can't play video games in school.
Oh yeah,
I got that.
We all did.
Mom, look at us now. Well,
look at us now.
It wasn't exactly a direct line for us. There was certainly some studying.
It never is, though, is it?
Well, actually, very interesting that you should say this. Amazing segue. We have a headline. Apparently, the University of Arizona and Age of Empires 4 are combining, and you can get current and future University of Arizona and Arizona Online students can earn credit towards their college degree.
Is this a 3-credit class?
Age of Empires 4. So there's a lot of details here. My cousin went to University of Arizona, and she's she works for the Department of Justice now. Great school. And she did not get credit for playing Age of Empires 4, but I'm sure she would like to. Of course, there's lots of really cool historical lessons in the game. Besides the Wololo, which may or may not have been historically accurate, there are, as you play through the campaign, really cool stories about, let's say, the 100 Years' War, for example. And there's a lot of details in here, but of course, Age of Empires 4 is available to play today through PC Game Pass. And if you want to learn about University of Arizona and playing your way to success, check out Xbox Wire.
I'm going to be very disappointed if it's not in the course catalog online as, Wololo 101. So I'll be very disappointed.
100%. And I did want to just bring up another piece that I saw that caught my eye earlier this week, which if you didn't see, feel free to go check out YouTube or news.xbox.com. So there's a new a video that was put out. It's called Beyond Xbox, A Player Like Me, and it's in partnership with Xbox and Gamers Outreach, which, that partnership has been around for years. Gamers Outreach is such a great charity organization that puts go-karts, gaming go-karts in hospitals so that kids who are in hospitals can play games during their stay. And so they put out a video that had, let me make sure I get their names right, Megan Shaw and Jordan Strong. And these are these two players who are on the opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Jordan, I believe, is in Atlanta, and Megan is in Scotland. And it's really about the story of, these younger folks who are in a time when they are going through something. I believe Megan has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Hopefully I said that right. But it caused her to faint a lot. And Jordan's actually doing some therapeutics inside of a hospital. And it really speaks to the power of video games. We often talk about how, we can play it together, but, we kind of live in the same area. But, when you think about how huge this world is, gaming is a great connector. And so this video it does a great job of communicating how these two very different people going through similar not the same circumstances can come together over video gaming. And I love seeing these stories because so often we hear about them, but we don't get to kind of hear it in their own words. And so be sure to check it out. It's called Beyond Xbox, A Player Like Me. And it's on the Xbox YouTube channel. Highly recommend it. And shout out to the folks at Gamers Outreach, Zach Weigel, who's Forbes 30 Under 30, CNN's I forget the title, but it's just some prestigious title. But the great work that they do is just unbelievably impressive.
Zach, and you talked about it. Zach Weigel, who's a good friend of ours. I should get him on the show. He's, I've known him for a decade or so. And I remember when he was starting this, and I was like, this is a great idea. And it has now grown into this incredible international organization that touches hundreds, if not thousands of kids in hospitals. Go look it up at gamersoutreach.org. And I think you're really going to really warm your heart. But yeah, thank you for that call out to the video.
Yeah,
that's definitely 100%. A must watch. Anyway, Jeff, you got anything else there? Should we get
last bit really quick? Is I would be very remiss if one of my favorite games of last year, Lost Judgment DLC, came out this week. You get to be Kaito-san. He is sort of the wild and crazy guy that's compared to Yagami, who's like sort of cool and maybe a little more withdrawn. So you get to be him for the first time in the series, and I'm super excited. So I'll be playing that this weekend.
All right.
I get so excited when, Jeff, real quick, when you talk about Yakuza or Lost Judgment or any of those kinds of games, just your eyes just light up, and I'm jealous of that excitement.
It's
really awesome.
He's their number one influencer, I think, or at least in the top 10.
There is nothing that makes me happier than when someone says, I played it because of you. And it's happened a lot. And they're like, and you were right. And I was like, damn right, I'm right. The series is amazing. Please play them. They're on Game Pass. And then after you play them, pick up Lost Judgment and Judgment. They're both just excellent detective games.
All right,
I'm done.
I got a couple things here. One was, what's coming out, Jeff? Hold on.
As he fades away.
We got Star Wars.
Yes, coming out next week. The
Skywalker Saga. It's coming out. And the folks at Star Wars sent me this amazing droid that apparently is a puzzle. So I have to take this apart. It's made out of Lego. Let me pull it in a little closer so you can kind of see. It's made out of Lego, and let me go full screen to really bring it home. So apparently if I take this out, there's a series of things I have to do to solve the puzzle, and there's something inside here. So I may be doing that for the weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, the game looks really good. It covers all 9 of the all 3 trilogies. So, the stories of those 9 movies. And if you've thought, hey, I've played Lego Star Wars before, it's from like a third person perspective. It really is like a new game, an entirely new game. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one next week.
All right. Next is, Jeff, I texted you this morning. FedEx was banging on my door at 7:15 I had to sign for a package, and I'm like, what is this
thing? Did they have my French jersey in there?
They did not have your French jersey, but what they did have is, let me go full screen here. They had, we talked about it last week, and now I have the Sonic controllers, which, as you can see, I'm now going to open them up. They are covered in fur.
I feel like
Are you not allergic to fur, are you, Larry? I would hate for you to start sniffling.
It doesn't
Tearing
matter.
up on the
because- Here we go. Check those out.
Oof. It's like an animal. It's like a pet.
It is. It's like a tribble or something.
And there's the Knuckles one. We've got the so anyway, you can actually, and then in the box is an Xbox Series S. Let me see if I can pull that out. But Jeff, you've got. Do you have the details of the contest? Because people can win this from Paramount and Xbox, Paramount Pictures and Xbox.
Yes. Well, I would just say that your best bet is to head over to Xbox Wire, as we frequently tell you to do. But that's where all the news goes. And just do a quick search for Sonic, and you will find it. It's it is the top
look at
story
this.
that will come back.
Look at that. That is the Xbox. That is a black Xbox Series X for Sonic 2.
Series S.
Series S. But what's interesting is they there's the ring.
Beautiful. Perfect.
So
Worked
don't forget the
perfectly.
movie is coming out. I'm hearing good things about it on April 8th. And so you have to retweet the tweet, and you have until April 4th. So it's not too late, but it's getting there. Like I said, just go over to news.xbox.com, hit that magnifying glass at the top, and hit and type in Sonic. It will be the first to appear. That's a showpiece. I don't think you play with that one. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got a chance to hold it a few like last week, and they had it in the studio on campus, and I think you're right, Jeff. You probably the reactions have been interesting online, but yeah, you probably don't want to play with it. You know, if you happen to win it, which again most people won't ever get to play with it, but if you happen to win it, maybe put it on the shelf. Maybe don't play with it because
it's dry clean only, and the costs add up really quickly.
It certainly is.
Exactly.
It is anyway.
But
So
it's
that's
so cool, though. Such a cool thing.
Check that out. We've got an amazing partnership and promotions department that does all these kind of really creative things. So we've got a lot more planned. In fact, what we should do, Jeff and Malik. Jeff and I don't know if you know the head of the department that works on this, but he's a really great guy. Listens to the show all the time, and that's why he keeps sending all these things like, hey, you want to talk about this? We're going to get him on the show to talk about some of the cool stuff that he's working on. So and that his whole team is working on. But thank you for sending all that over, and go over to see Sonic 2 the movie and register to win. So there we go. That's what we got.
That's right.
I don't think I can top it after that. Between the French jersey and the upholstered controllers, I don't know what more I can do.
I need the fuzzy Sonic version of this shirt. That's my new goal.
No,
I don't think, Jeff.
No?
I don't think that's a good
Maybe
idea,
not?
man.
No.
I will say, where's my free stuff? We need to get me something free.
well, we do. Well, we like to show things off a little bit here, Malik. But the problem is, you know what? We need to fill that room up with some swag.
Yes, and the walls are. That's embarrassing.
They're
I'm
blank.
Thoroughly embarrassed.
I also, before we go, I want to point out a couple things. First of all, Malik, thank you for joining us this week. Rebecca, I believe, will be back next week. She'll be back in the near future. So thank you, Malik, for joining us. Jeff, thank you for practicing your high school French with us. That was excellent.
Oui, bien sûr.
And also, I would like to
I gotta
point out,
practice
much to Jeff, you didn't call me out this week, but you called me out last week. And I want to be very clear.
Your hair looks great today,
I
Larry.
have pants on.
Larry, where's the show going here?
No, you just last week you accused me of wearing shorts or something, and I was like, I want to be very clear. So that's where it's going.
Wow.
There you go.
All right.
We'll cut that part.
All right, gang. We'll let you go. Malik, you have homework to do. Do you remember your homework?
Yes, I forgot it again. Yeah, but I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. Write that down. Well, we'll have you back on the show
WWE.
after you hit that. Jeff, will you be around next week to join us?
That's the plan.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you for liking and subscribing. You can check us out on all your major podcast platforms, including Google. Of course, we're on Spotify. We're all the great places. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up, hit the subscribe, the bell, the whole 9 yards. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.